It's about to go down.
It's lovely pass, and nearly turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Skilled by Joshua, and a return right hand. Good counter right. Bullen is hurt. Second right hand. That clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricciardo is inching into the lead, and Ricciardo that win the Italian Grand Prix!
Gabella running the floor.
Still leading the way with Canada in there too, with the Netherlands.
And Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix! Ricciardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bowden, Barrett, and an early touch and an excellent...
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Hello, out there viewers, and welcome to Sports Orbit, reaching you from the Leadership Podcast studio. My name is Afa Acho. As you can see, it's just me, myself, and I in the studio. Today, my regular partner, Salif Usman, is unavoidably absent on an official assignment. But nevertheless, the show must go on, and today I still promise you a bumper and exciting package. In today's episode of Sports Orbit, of course, we have plenty of basketball news. The NBBF is still in the news as the crisis in the NBBF is still to abate. And of course, Nigerian professional footballers are also saying that something is wrong with the way the NFF board is constituted currently. And of course, yesterday we all saw what many term as one of the best Champions League games in recent time, where we saw Chelsea coming against Real Madrid. Chelsea had hoped to overturn that scoreline, but it was not to be. Sometimes you put in your best, but as it was for Chelsea, their best was simply not good enough. Anyway, we'll begin with the crisis from the NBBF, where fractional president of the Nigerian Basketball Federation, Igoche Mark, has urged the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development to stop the back and forth approach to the protracted leadership crisis rocking Nigeria's basketball, saying he and his board will no longer tolerate any attempt to allow few individuals to turn the game of basketball to their retirement benefit. Most of us are aware that the NBBF has been embroiled in a series of crises for the past 4 years now, and just when everybody thought that crisis will come to an end, the crisis keeps taking a different dimension. We all thought that with the new elections that held in January, actually two parallel elections were held where Musa Kida emerged as the fractional president of one of the elections, while Igoche Mark also emerged as the fractional president. But Igoche Mark is saying that it's time that the Ministry of Sport stamp its feet down and take a decision on this NFF crisis. Mark, who gave the warning at a media parley with newsmen yesterday in Abuja, insisted that the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, and the entire leadership of the ministry must come out clean about the endless crisis that has crippled basketball development in the country. He also appealed to the minister to do the right thing if he really meant well for the development of sport in the country, saying Nigeria's basketball should not just be about going to the Olympics, Afrobasket, or international tournament. In recent time, basketball, apart from going to the Afrobasket or the Olympic, we've hardly had any serious activity going on in the basketball, I think when it comes to basketball locally, apart from the competition being organized usually by the fractional president, Mark Igoche, called Mark the Ball. There's hardly any basketball league in the country, and as a result of that, Nigeria's representatives to the usual African Basketball Championship could not even take part this year as a result of the lingering crisis. Quoting him, he said, I have said it countless times that I have nothing personal in Nigeria's basketball. What we are doing is to rescue the game of basketball in Nigeria because for the past 4 to 5 years, there has been a steady decline in basketball activities in the country. He also added that Nigeria's basketball should not be about going to the Olympics, Afrobasket, or international tournament. Whatever we are doing on the international scene, it is assumed that from the house or home front, we have everything working well. But the scenario where the house is not functioning and no basketball activities, but we are only focusing on how to go to the Olympics or international competitions, we are not doing ourselves any good, he noted. He stated further that I believe the minister and the ministry have the best interest of basketball game at heart. They know the right thing to do and they will do it. But it's time they all come out and specifically say something and do what is right about what we have on ground. Enough of all the back and forth approach in our basketball. Enough is enough for the few individuals trying to use the game as their retirement benefits, Mark said. Uh, the crisis in the NBBF is yet to abate, and Igoche Mark lays claim to one of the factions of the NBBF, while Musa Kida also lays claim to the other faction. According to Mark, he says basketball in Nigeria has become a sort of a retirement home for some people who have nothing left to do other than reap from where they did not sow. We hope that the Ministry of Youth and Sports Solidarity will heed to the call of the factional president, Igoche Mark, and step in so that at least we can have some semblance of sanity in the basketball community here in Nigeria. Anyway, away from that now to the Professional Footballers Association of Nigeria, where the president, who is no other person than former Super Eagles winger Tijani Babangida, has called for restructuring of the Nigerian Football Federation Executive Committee ahead of the September board election. The elections into the new board of the NFF will be holding in September. The current board, which is being led by Amaju Pinnick, their tenure will elapse in September 2022, and Amaju Pinnick has clearly stated that he is not interested in going for a third term, even though he says that he's qualified. Last week on Arise TV, he actually mentioned that he's qualified to go for a third term, but due to family reasons, he will not be interested in going for third term. But Tijani Babangida is saying there has to be a proper restructuring of the NFF. In a statement tagged NFF for Sustainable Growth and Development of Nigeria, Babangida stated that equal representation in the NFF board will promote justice, peace, equity, and fair play in the federation. He said the current structure of the NFF board is deficient on many fronts. The current structure dominated by the chairman of State Football Association to the detriment of other important stakeholders does not portray the game of football as the most democratic game in the world. According to him, the NFF board is being dominated by the state federations. In other words, we have about 37 state federations, that's 36 states, including the FCT, and all of these federations have, out of the 44 votes, the federation has 37, leaving the remaining slots for just a few of the stakeholders. But Tijani Babangida has come out to say that this structure is faulty on all levels and actually advocates for a restructuring of the NFF. Speaking further, he said the board, dominated by State Football Association chairman, has its roots in the faulty nature of the composition and distribution of votes. The votes among the 5 distinct members of the NFF, according to the provisions of Article 10 and Chapter 1 of NFF statutes, must be addressed if we must move forward and make progress, he said. It provides that the FAs have only 37 votes out of the 44 votes in the Congress. There's no doubt that the current structure of the Congress and the board has continuously promoted and encouraged election malpractices such as vote buying. This has negative effects on the quality of members of the board, which rubs on quality decision making and good governance, Babangida noted. In other words, Babangida is advocating for a complete restructuring of the board of the Nigerian Football Federation, especially as elections hold in September. He feels that this is a good time for the NFF to completely restructure the current statute so that stakeholders can have a greater say in the federation and not just leave most of the decision making to the state FA chairman who seem to be running the affairs of the federation as it stands. So we hope that the NFF will yield to the call of the former Nigerian winger and do the needful in order to restructure the NFF and give some sort of carry every stakeholder along and sort of make the body more democratic as FIFA states. The NFF usually following the model set by FIFA is supposed to be a completely democratic body where every stakeholder is duly elected and has an equal say in the affairs and running of the federation, and also have equal votes, not votes being lopsided to the point where state FAs dominate decision making while critical stakeholders like the professional footballers body are left out in the cold. And these are the people who actually play the game of football and they know where the shoe pinches the most. Away from that now to the Super Eagles, where the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be in action. That's coming up against Mexico on 28th of May 2021. Actually, there will be a friendly match against L3 of Mexico. That match will actually be held at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington and Texas, United States of America. Recall that the Super Eagles of Nigeria failed to qualify for the 2022 Qatar World Cup, which comes up in November, December in the Middle East. Actually, that will be the first World Cup to be hosted in the Middle East. Well, missing out on that World Cup, there's still a chance for fans of the Super Eagles to still see the team in action, but that will be the 28th of May 2022. And it's expected that by then the Super Eagles must have gotten a new coach who will be in charge of this game, and at least this will give the new coach an opportunity to assess the players he has on ground, be able to call on new players to prosecute this game, and we can see to go from there. And I hope with this friendly, this will mark the dawn of a new era for the Super Eagles, especially hoping that a new coach will be in charge to be in charge of proceedings in that one. According to the NFF, the game between Nigeria and Mexico will take place in the United States of America, like I said, and we expect that in friendly games like this, that whoever is going to be in charge of the team will be able to at least have a good opportunity to invite players even from the local league to at least give equal opportunities to players who play right here in the MPFL, so that over reliance on foreign-based and foreign-born players will at least reduce. This should be a good opportunity to test fresh legs, invite players who are yet to take proper action. For the Super Eagles, I do not expect that this match will be another match where we invite all the regulars. This should be a time for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, whoever is in charge, to at least invite players who fringe players, and especially and I strongly advocate for invitation of home-based players, that's players playing in the Nigerian Professional Football League, to at least be given some sort of call-up to at least taste some action in the Super Eagles. Anyway, at this point, I'll go for a short break, and when we come back, Sport Orbit continues. Don't forget that we still have plenty of news in store for you. There's the Champions League, and of course, some MPFL fixtures are already ongoing currently. Don't go nowhere.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
All right, welcome back from that short break. You're still on to Sports Orbit, away from the local scene now to the UEFA Champions League, where we saw some really breathtaking matches go down yesterday. And in one of the games, Villarreal against Bayern Munich, the hero of that game happened to be Nigeria's own Samuel Chukwueze, who happened to score that decisive goal that sent them into the semi-final. And for the first time in a long while, Villarreal will be making the last four of the prestigious tournament. Bayern Munich, who are usually always go to the latter stage of this competition, sadly will not be making it to the next stage of the competition that I was talking about, the semi-finals. Especially this will be the first time in a long time, especially under new coach Nagelsmann, who will be reeling from the defeat of last night. Actually, Villarreal also celebrated Samuel Chukwueze after he scored that goal in second leg clash against Bayern Munich. As Chukwueze scored a late equalizer as the Yellow Submarine held their host to a 1-1 draw. Recall that in the first leg, Villarreal actually defeated Bayern Munich 1-0, and a lot of bookmakers had hoped that Bayern Munich were going to turn it around in the second leg, especially playing at home, but it was not to be, as Villarreal, led by Unai Emery, who is an experienced coach when it comes to especially the Europa League, but this time getting the job done in the Champions League, had other plans, as Villarreal are now firmly in the semi-final of the Champions League. They progressed actually 2-1 on aggregate where they will face either Liverpool or Atletico Madrid. Bayern Munich took the lead on 52nd minute through Robert Lewandowski following an error in Villarreal's defense. When that goal came through, a lot of us watching thought that, okay, this was the right time for Bayern Munich to really get going and come back to the game. But after that goal, they couldn't do anything more until Chukwueze had to pop up and score that goal actually in the 85th minute. Chukwueze, who was later replaced by Arnold Danjuma in the 84th minute, finished off a fantastic counter-attack by Dani Parejo, driven by Gio Lesleslo and Gerard Moreno 4 minutes later. The La Liga club took to social media to celebrate this decisive strike after the game. I recall that Chukwueze, especially during the AFCON and, of course, the double-header World Cup qualifier, a lot of Nigerians actually questioned his inclusion in the Super Eagles team, because for a lot of us who watched the AFCON really saw that Chukwueze was not in the best of form, considering the kind of form he has shown over the years. But yesterday, he put all of that behind him and was the main man for Villarreal. And now Villarreal are firmly in the semi-final of the UEFA Champions League. And also, we also saw the other game, which was Real Madrid versus Chelsea. That's talking about return leg, where Chelsea had hoped to make it to the next round against all odds, but they put up a brilliant performance, a great game it was. Chelsea went 3-0 up. At that point, the scores were all were level until Real Madrid actually put one back through Karim Benzema. And after that match, actually, Chelsea coach Thomas Tuchel was not happy with the referee. According to him, he was disappointed that after the game he could see the referee smiling and actually having some brief moment of laughter with Real Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti. Actually, the Blues actually won 3-2 on the night, but exited the competition 5-4 on aggregate. Thomas Tuchel said, "I was disappointed that the referee had a good time. My colleague, Carlo Ancelotti. I know Carlo is a gentleman and a nice guy, but when I wanted to go and say thank you for the match, I saw him smiling and laughing loudly with the opponent's coach." I think Tuchel should take this defeat in good faith. Is he trying to insinuate that the coach played a tricky one or a fast one on Chelsea? I really don't think so. In the game of football, there will always be winners and also losers. Also, speaking about that game, Luka Modric also admitted that Real Madrid felt dead before scoring against Chelsea in their Champions League quarter-final second leg on Tuesday night. Chelsea were going through as they led 4-3 on aggregate before Modric produced an unbelievable pass to help Real score through Rodrigo. Actually, it was a sumptuous pass, if you ask me, in Nigerian parlance. For those of us who are used to playing football on the street, it's one of those passes you call a NASA pass. Actually, it was a brilliant pass, and he actually met perfectly timed and met Rodrigo at the right time, who made no mistakes, slotted the ball past Chelsea goalkeeper Edward Mendy. That goal actually broke millions of blue hearts all over the world, and it was actually a silent night, as some put it. Some actually said that Real Madrid helped to restore some sort of world peace last night. But for Chelsea fans, I think they put up a good performance. But like they say, sometimes you put in your best, but sometimes it's simply not good enough. Benzema said, "Unbelievable to describe the game. We were dead until the goal we scored. Chelsea scored 3 goals. Maybe the first a bit lucky from a deflection. I can't say we played badly. They used their chances well and scored the goals. We didn't give up. We kept believing, fighting, and the end showed huge character." So Real Madrid and Villarreal are the first 2 teams to book their places in the semi-final of this year's UEFA Champions League. And of course, at this now, they will be awaiting either Liverpool or Atletico Madrid. And not forgetting that today also Manchester City will be also already, of course, in Madrid to face Atletico Madrid for the all-important second leg clash of the Champions League. We call that in the first leg, Manchester City ran away with that one 1-0 leaders over Atletico at the Etihad, but it's still not done and dusted yet for Man City, playing against an Atletico side who can really be a tricky side to play, especially playing at home. Could be a tricky one. So Man City will be hoping to throw everything to ensure that they ensure victory tonight against Atletico. But knowing Atletico for the kind of game they play, they'll be hoping to contain Manchester City and hopefully hit them on the counter. And like Atletico usually plays, once Atletico is able to get a goal or two, be sure that Diego Simeone's men will definitely lock up everywhere and ensure that nothing passes through that defense. Of course, in the other game of the night, it will be Liverpool who will be up against Benfica in the other match of the Champions League. But for Liverpool, Liverpool are almost home and dry as it stands because in the first leg, Liverpool won that one 3-1, but going away. But anyway, this is the Champions League where anything can happen. But from on paper, right now, Liverpool are actually in full control of this tie. But going playing at home actually to Benfica, you can expect that Liverpool will be coming up with the goals. Liverpool are also always a dangerous side, especially playing at Anfield in front of their home supporters. We'll be keeping an eye on that one. And tonight, the four final semi-finalists of the Champions League will be known at the end of proceedings tonight. Also, there are some matches currently going on in the Nigerian Professional League as it is now. Some matches lined up for today. For this week, actually, it is Abia Warriors versus Niger Tornadoes, while Enugu Rangers will be taking on Sunshine Stars FC. In the other matches will be Dakada versus Heartland FC. Gombe United will be up against Aqua United, while Kano Pillars will be at home to Casino United. The other match will have Remo Stars travel to National United, while MFM will also travel to Jos to face Plateau United out there at the Jos Stadium. Eyimba will be up against league leaders Rivers United in Port Harcourt, while Shooting Stars will host Lobby Stars of Makudi out there in Ibadan. In the other game, it will be Wicked Tories of Bauchi versus Kwara United. Anyway, away from that and on to tennis before we leave to the studio, where Novak Djokovic has actually suffered a shock defeat at the ongoing Monte Carlo Masters. Novak Djokovic was beaten by Alejandro Davidovich Fokina on Tuesday as the world's number one tennis player returned to the ATP Tour fell flat at the Monte Carlo Masters. Djokovic recalled that has been playing. This is the first time he's playing since February. Recalled that he was not able to take part in the Australian Open as a result of his refusal to take the COVID vaccine, and that led to his being deported from the country after he was being detained for a while and went through all manner of disciplinary measures as a result of he not being able to take the COVID medicine. Well, after skipping the US hardcourt swing due to being without a coronavirus vaccination, Djokovic was beaten in just under 3 hours. The Serbian lost 6-3, 6-7, 6-1 after he faced 20 break points. He was broken on no fewer than 9 occasions as the world number 46. Fokina recovered from a major setback in the second set to score the best win of his career. I can imagine that defeating world number one tennis player, 20-time Grand Slam winner Djokovic, should be the most important win of Fokina's career. Djokovic is clearly in need of more match practice if he is to end a torrid year, which saw him deported prior to the Australian Open in January, by improving on his 20 Grand Slam titles. A two-time winner in Monte Carlo, Djokovic was starting at a swift defeat when he lost the first set and was then immediately broken at the start of the second set. For Djokovic, missing that all-important Australian Open was actually an opportunity for him to be the first person to hit 21 Grand Slams, but his absence actually paved way for Rafael Nadal, who actually broke that record. So recall that three men, Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, and Roger Federer, were all tied on 20 Grand Slams apiece, but Rafael Nadal, as a result of winning the Australian Open, has one Grand Slam better than Djokovic and Roger Federer. Djokovic will be hoping to get back to playing winning ways if he partakes in the French Open, which is just around the corner. Viewers, at this point, with that tennis news, this brings us to the end of Sports Orbit for today. Don't forget that today also we have very, very interesting Champions League matches taking place tonight. It will be Manchester City up against Atletico Madrid, while Liverpool will be up against Benfica. Who will be in the semi-finals? Will it be Man City? Will it be Liverpool? Will it be Atletico Madrid? Or will it be Benfica? That and much more we'll give you on tomorrow's episode of Sports Orbit. We'll keep an eye on that one tomorrow. We'll give you a complete review of all the sporting events that will be going down in the course of the day. Anyway, that's where I slam the brakes on today's episode of Sports Orbit. I remain your host, Afa Acho, until I come your way tomorrow with another bigger, fresh and more exciting package. Hopefully, my colleague Salif Usman will be in the studio with me, and this will give you a more refreshing and exciting package. I remain your host, Afa Acho. Stay safe out there, and goodbye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.